Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. This is a Sharp Tongue podcast. I'm going to make it all sound like one word. I'm excited about our guest because I haven't actually had an opportunity to sit down and chat with you before. Comedian, actress, model, supermom, author,
supermodel,
activist, just all these accolades.
Activist mom.
The very hilarious Lynn Rajskub.
Hi.
Did I say your last name right?
It's Rajskub, but
Rajskub.
I like the way that you said it.
Rajskub.
Yeah, it sounds posh.
It sounds very posh.
Upper crust.
It does.
Sounds royal.
Is it Russian?
It's Czech and Polish. Czech Polish.
Are you from there or did you?
No.
Yeah, you just regular white
My
chick?
parents are from Detroit. My
Damn.
mom's all Irish. My dad is Czech and Polish.
Did you grow up in Detroit?
Suburbs.
Fuck. What was that like?
Was
Was it rough in the suburbs?
No.
Really?
No, my parents were both like strict Catholic school in Detroit proper.
Yeah.
And then they left for, during white flight is what they called it.
What the fuck was White Flight? That sounds like a movie with Nicolas Cage.
Yes.
That sounds like an action
Now
film.
that I brought it up, like I'm impressing you with I'm about to Google White Flight
Google
because
White
I don't want to
Flight.
say it wrong. It's like when the white people left
Detroit
during the riots.
Okay. The White Flight. Where is that movie?
There is a movie about it.
I have never heard of White Flight.
I couldn't get through it. It was the woman that made that other movie.
Hurt Locker?
Yes.
How did you know? I don't know because this industry is so fucked up that when you say the woman who directed the movie, there's the one woman you think of.
The phenomenon of white people moving out of urban areas, particularly those with significant minority populations into suburban areas. That's interesting because I thought that term was particular to this, which it
Detroit?
is, but it also is a thing.
Like a
It's
general
also,
term. Wow. White Flight. That's a
originated starting in the 1950s and 60s, large-scale migration of people of various European ancestries from racially mixed urban. So, like, my mom's memories of Detroit are this magnificent city, and that was before, like, the city was going in the shitter, combination of racial tension.
Yeah.
And I think people were moving to Detroit for all the business, and then some shit went down.
Because the car industry was huge there. Huge.
Yeah.
That was like the epicenter.
So things were going really well.
Right.
Like, so her memories are of like taking the streetcar to the department store and
some real classy shit.
Yeah. And so, my parents are.
What do they do? Like, what does your mom do for work?
They're sort of like northern, you know what I mean? Like we're not from the South type of holding on to that. She has like a integrated view of race relations, but she also was actively a part of White Flight. And it was also that time when they were, that forced integration that didn't work, that lots of people are like, oh yeah, I went to a school like that, where they like bust in inner city kids and stuff like that, thinking that would
solve the problem.
My mom was worked at a pharmacy for years as a pharmacy technician, like at a drugstore, and my dad was a pipe fitter for the electric company, and that's what he moved to the suburbs for that job. So they got in the lot where all the houses, every fourth house is the same, and they were just being built up, and it was a new subdivision, and it was a whole new life.
Were the streets arced? Yeah. Like they kind of like flowed like a little river stream, like they weren't straight.
Well, no, we didn't have that shape. We had like sort of soft rectangles. Yeah. But yeah, it was a similar, you're running into the same types of houses over and over.
That's very idyllic, I feel, that type of upbringing. And your dad, working with his hands, those jobs are going to be, there aren't going to be people for those jobs. Nobody wants to work with their hands.
Electric company, it took me years. Like, I think I was well into adulthood before I was like, it's run by coal. Like, I remember visiting it as an adult, and it's an electric company that's run by coal. Yeah. And he was a pipe fitter, so he would work in extreme heat or extreme cold and, go to work at like 6 a.m. every day, get off at 3. And I just never.
Did he ever have any health issues from it?
Not really. Maybe he does.
They're both still alive, both your parents? Yeah. They still together?
Yeah.
Wow. How many years?
50.
Holy.
I don't know.
You got siblings?
I have 2 older sisters.
What do they do? I don't know anything.
We have not talked.
We've never really talked. I'm like talking like how I would if we were having coffee.
What are you like?
How many sisters do you have?
I need all your stats too. My sister, one of them is in business. The other one worked a little bit, but they're both moms.
Yeah.
One of them is more of a career person than the other one.
And you're the only one that's in the industry.
Yeah.
Were your parents supportive?
Yeah.
In the beginning?
I mean,
they're always scared. My mom was like, well, you better have a backup. That was the big thing.
It was, if you talk to her now, you know, my parents were like, we were always supportive of you. And they were, to as much as they could be.
Yeah.
You know, it was definitely a hard break of like, you're not supposed to leave. You know, like I definitely was on my own.
Were you on a different path and then you discovered that you wanted to be in the industry? Like where were you in your life where you wanted to get into acting and stand up and all that?
I did acting when I was a kid and in high school. It really was the only thing that I liked, but I didn't think of it in terms of I was like, I'm not going to make money. I'm not going to go to school to be an actor. And also I was not college bound. You know, my family's very working class. So like my two best friends in high school were like, I'm going to U of M. And I was like, oh, like.
Sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah. So I ended up getting into art school. And then a friend of mine, she found out that you could go to San Francisco for a semester. And like something deep inside of me, again, not connecting it, certainly not to the entertainment, but just the notion of leaving Michigan. I was like, I gotta go. And then I just like never came back. And I started finishing art school in San Francisco, doing performance art, getting into more performing, running into comedians, and just being really attracted to like. Did you start stand up in college? I did performance art, and then I started making fun of performance art. But I was so, it was like I did like poetry slams. Because it was that era, you know, like, I came from art school. So like the comedy clubs were closing. So some of the people would like intersect. So I would see them in bars. And once I started seeing comedians in these open mic situations and they were doing like stuff that they wouldn't do in the clubs. But to me, I would see them and I would be like, they're so polished. You know what I mean? Because it was these other people like reading poetry from a book. And then the comedians would just talk. Yes. And I was like, that was very attractive to me. But I still didn't think, I was so like afraid to speak and so messed up that I would do like a performance art version. You know what I mean? Like I would collect parts of sentences. So when I moved to LA, I was doing I was just to do live shows. So I had met like these people who were like, oh, we're doing shows in LA. And I was like, I'll go to LA just because I wanted to perform live.
Anywhere, right.
And so I was like, I knew I was doing comedy, but I also feel like, especially early on, I was like the pet of like, oh, let's let like, I mean, everybody was a weirdo. It was like, I met my weirdos,
yeah.
But I was with some very high caliber, you know, like David Cross and Bob Odenkirk, who had already established themselves as writers.
In specific types of comedy.
So I got accepted in that group, but it was always like, oh, let's see what weird thing she was going to do, even though everybody else was doing their version of it. So I fit in, but I didn't fit in.
Yeah.
And I still, for years, like I would, you know, I would torture myself over like, you should come up with a sketch packet. And it's like, I was so like socially messed up that it took everything to just get through a performance.
Yeah.
Like it's only now I feel like I'm like, oh, I'm a person. And
me too.
I know what I'm saying. Yes. I know, you know, I'm starting to get used to what my mind, like back then I was just like, like
you're throwing it all out there. And then
I was very
you live a life and you start, your point of view gets refined.
But you know, and I was very lucky because I love stand up. I knew I was doing comedy, but I also knew that I'm not a guy who's like, here's what I think about this. Like my entry into it was all these super alt shows. And it was very much like back then it was like you do something different every time.
Yeah. You know? Which makes it, you know, for a certain type of comedy, it's great. But then when you're like getting into the craft of it and being able to recreate the magic, that's where the difficulty comes in.
And at that time, everybody I hung out with was like, oh, the clubs, boo, like traditional clubs.
Right.
There was a big separation between road comics and we're breaking away from that. And I was in like, a really pretty amazing crowd of people.
Yeah, for sure.
Caliber of people that went on to do. So it wasn't that there wasn't a craft there. It was just this, it was almost like this come down from the boom of the 80s of that.
The transition.
And then it sort of has come back where people really are respecting that more. And even I finally at this point in my life, I'm like, oh, you know, it's like when you go and do a weekend and you're doing 6 shows, it's like, I'm not fucking around. Like these people are like, I got to give them a show.
Exactly.
You know, like you got to have
taken years
your stuff in
of
order.
Work. Yeah, absolutely. when you're on the road, do you have any routines, like when you get to the hotel? Because I feel like for me, I don't know if you're the same. I mean, because you have a family.
Yeah.
You're a mom. Do you feel like you need to create home on the road to not go crazy? Like, do you have like,
I kind of just let myself go crazy. That's what I do.
Stouffer's mac and cheese, 3 a.m.
Well, I start out the weekend by going, oh, I left home. And then by the end of the weekend, I'm like out with the 21-year-olds and like, what kind of music do I like? I'm having those conversations at like 2 a.m. But that first day, I just really sink into the depression of it. Sometimes I won't get a car. It took me years to be like, oh, you can rent a car. Like I'll just get there and I'll be like walking along the freeway.
Yes.
Like,
on the side of a highway.
I'm so hungry. I guess I'll go to that Chili's. Maybe I can walk to a grocery store. Walking along the freeway has become like a real...
But realizing you can get wheels and get out and experience
it's a whole new
city
world.
a little bit. It's a whole new world.
Like when I first started doing the road, it was like, I was like, oh, you like to torture yourself.
Yeah.
Or like just taking the hotel. Sometimes you can shift it so you're not in the most depressing hotel.
You have to find those like little tricks. Like getting a car is a big one.
That's a big one.
Because that gets you out of your mind about being in the hotel.
Yes.
And then you just start to mix it up with the locals and find a little coffee shop or,
because if you have a car, you're never going that far.
No.
You're just doing like maybe a mile radius, right? And then you're like, I'm tired. I'm going to go back to the hotel. Like, what am I going to walk 5 miles? Sometimes I do, just like pass the time.
Just to like, get out, get some fresh air, get the blood flowing so you're not stuck in the hotel looking at the remote control thinking about all the amoebas on it. How many kids do you have?
I have one child. He's 10 and a husband.
Should I have a kid? You think so?
Right away.
I feel like I need to have one soon. I'm 36. I got to pop it out.
I had a kid when I was 37, 38.
That means I got to have it in like a year.
Well,
I mean, that means I got to be pregnant now.
Well,
what you got in that purse?
Oh, to impregnate you?
Yeah, you got anything in there you could just toss in?
Yep. Funny you should ask. I had a feeling when I came here. It's
do you
still
have your
warm.
travel semen?
Little drop will do ya. It's travel size, so it's under 2
Daisy's
ounces.
travel semen. A little drop will do ya. Wow, I feel like I'm seriously contemplating it because my whole life.
What's your boyfriend's sitch?
He has a 5-year-old.
Oh.
Yeah. Doesn't live with him. Long distance father. Because the mother was, they had a
Does he not want any more kids because of that?
Oh, he's into it. He's into it. Yeah. But like, it took losing my dad to realize the value of having a child and like what that relationship is. Yeah. And I never wanted that before. Never wanted a kid ever, 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 ever.
That's pretty major.
Yeah.
That's some deep shit.
I know. I just got a little emotional. It's all right. I'm bleeding. But yeah.
What do you mean because you're thinking about your relationship or his relationship to you or through like, his eyes having a child?
Yeah, like just I've never really cried on this podcast. But just how much he loved me and how much joy he brought to my life. And that kind of love I want to give
there,
that
and
to
you
somebody.
take for granted that it's there. No, you don't. I'm not saying you took it for granted, but we all do with our parents. We're like,
when they're gone, you're like, fuck. You almost want to replace it with something, and so I guess I just have to get pregnant. But I mean,
my semen that I have in here is dog semen. Is that cool? You could have like a little. You could have your own.
That
puppy.
would be. Oh my god, that would be a dream come true.
I'm gonna cry because you're crying.
If I gave birth to a litter.
You could sell a few.
Oh, I could sell. Like, I would be the most rich mom starting off. They're like, it costs $1 million to raise a kid. Fucking done. I sold 6 of them right out of the gate. I made you cry. I'm sorry. We're turning it around, though. I swear we're turning it around. Yeah, I think because having that relationship, it's just made me want to be a dog mom now. I mean, I am a dog mom. I have 3 fucking dogs.
Yeah, that's a lot of dogs.
That's a lot of dogs.
What kind do you?
I have a Rottweiler. What's it called? A pit bull? Pit mix. I got a Chihuahua mix. And then that's it. Just 2 little Chihuahua mixes and a pit bull mix.
Do they bark, the little ones?
Fuck yeah. They drive me nuts. Are you kidding me? It's like my neighbors just hear me go, shut the fuck up. Just dogs are like, bang, bang, bang. I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh my God.
What is going on? Yeah. So I think like for you were in the middle of your career. Should I dry my tears? Or are you still really sad?
No, you can get back into it. You can cry more.
No, I'm good.
I want to ask you about your dad. I'm not going to.
No, you can. No, I'm fine now. I got the cry out. I'm good. I think I've cried once, one other time.
Did you see him like before he passed?
Yeah.
You were with him a lot?
I was. He had Alzheimer's. And from diagnosis to death, it was a year. So it's a really quick process. Because usually that process can be, they linger with the disease. It's a slow burn. But so that was a silver lining for my family and I, is that he didn't suffer for that long. But the crazy thing is, are you religious?
No.
I'm not really either.
No.
But, I guess maybe spiritual, but I don't necessarily believe in a single God. I don't know if I believe in a lot of gods. I think maybe there's something else at play, or it's just crazy coincidence. Those are the options. But do you know John Heffron, comedian? Mm-hmm. Him and I have never met. And in the process of my father being sick, he had reached out to me and sent me a message that ended up being very pivotal in my relationship with my dad. And what was happening with my father with Alzheimer's, he was becoming forgetful, and our conversations would get a little bit harder to have. Even though we talked so much, it would get really difficult because he would forget what we just said, or, forget who I was. So I started calling him a lot less because of being afraid of what he wouldn't remember that conversation. And so on my bathroom mirror, I wrote, "Call your father," in lipstick to remind me to reach out to him, even though I was afraid, just to
do it anyway.
Call him. And I still didn't for months.
Yeah.
I was visiting him and stuff, flying back and forth from LA to Syracuse and all that. But there was one particular day on a Sunday where I woke up and I just had this intense anxiety, just overwhelming anxiety. And, the call your dad things on the mirror, and I looked at it again, didn't call him. I went to the grocery store. I was on the phone with my sister. I had this panic attack. I'm like, I told him Dad's dead. She's like, what are you talking about? And she's like, he's fine. I'm like, no, something's wrong. I just had this day of being in disarray. And she had to calm me down. I'm in the produce department crying over the kumquats. I'm like, something's wrong with Dad. She's like, yeah, he's got Alzheimer's. It fucking sucks. But he's with us. Everything's fine. Just go home and smoke a joint and calm the fuck down. Went home, calmed down, saw that message John Heffron had sent me. And he said, I've never met you before, but I've been following your story with your dad. And I want to tell you that, you're not alone. It's okay. And it's going to suck, but you're going to have a great hour after. Right? And so I was like, I really needed to hear that, because I just had an emotional attack in the produce department at the grocery store. I was crying over a bag of grapes, and this feels really nice to hear, even though we've never met. Thank you for reaching out.
It's really sweet.
It was really sweet. And I was losing my hearing. My sister had to repeat herself to me when I was having this panic attack. And I told him, I was like, yeah, I just thought I was losing my hearing in the store. And he was like, funny you should say that, because hearing is thought to be the last sensation and sense to go when people are passing. Hearing is the last to go. And he said, so just don't stop talking to your dad. He's like, make sure you talk to him. He can hear you. And I went and did a set after that. I got home at 1:30 in the morning, and it was East Coast, whatever that math is, 3:30.
Are you talking about your dad in your set?
Yeah, I was. Okay. Yep. And I got home, and I decided to call my dad. He was in the nursing home at the time. I couldn't actually speak to him, but I spoke to the night nurse, and I was just like, hey, can you tell my dad that it's Jesse and that I love him, and just let him know that I called to say I love him. And she's like, sure. And so I went to sleep, and my sister called me 15 minutes later. He had passed away after the nurse went in there and told him that I loved him. You probably weren't expecting all this crazy emotional shit today.
So he was waiting.
He was waiting, but I never would have sent that fucking message if it weren't for John Heffron. Yeah. I never would have called my dad had John Heffron not sent me that message. So I don't know what the fuck that is. You know what I mean? Is that something? Is it not? That's pretty fucking crazy, right? It's wild.
Yeah, it really is.
Do you want to put the semen in me now?
Yeah, let's get it going. And specifically that he would say that thing about hearing.
And that was a thing that made me
you already had that message to yourself.
I know.
You were already feeling bad.
I was already feeling bad about it. It was so fucking crazy.
And so that panic when your sister was like, he's fine, you were premonitioning or something.
I killed my dad. That's one of my really good friends said. I killed my dad. Let me get the semen. Yeah, so that's like, that's where I'm at right now in my mind and thinking about having a kid. Like, what for you, like, how did that change your career? Because 10 years ago, you're working, like you're doing your thing, like you're working now, but like having a kid now might be difficult too. How did you adjust? Like, what was the biggest adjustment you had to make when you had your?
Are we talking about it to get you to?
Yeah. I want to know what the
hard.
Take your baby on the road.
Yeah.
Can you take a baby on the road? Can you seriously? Where do you put the crib?
It's a major adjustment to life in a good way, but in terms of working, it wasn't that bad for me because I was on the show 24 and
I loved that show, by the way.
Seriously?
Such a huge fan.
I didn't know that.
Yep, loved that show.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I was a fan of yours.
Do you have a weird
am.
moment when you look at me? Like,
yeah, I do.
Seeing me
like
as
you
the
being
character?
in here, I'm like, oh shit, I love 24. Yeah, right?
Really?
Great show. And your character was such a great balance to the energy of the show. Like, I feel like you were a very pivotal character in that show.
Yeah,
and you balanced Jack
Thank you very
a
much.
lot. That's how I feel.
It was a big deal. So when I was on that show, it actually was kind of amazing because I worked a lot, but if you watch the show, there's so much plot line so that my stuff and a lot of my stuff was on the computer.
Yep.
So when I was pregnant and having the baby, they worked around me, but it wasn't hard to do because they just would stack up my shooting time. And there were only there was a period of time where I brought a nanny, but it was not that cool to have like nanny and baby,
right?
Because you're like trying to focus. So it ended up being I would just work, and we had the nanny for a period of time, and my husband was there. And
did it affect you like
what was
mentally?
I gonna say?
Like, did it change the way you performed? Did it change the way you acted on TV? Were you like?
Everything gets deeper.
Yeah.
And honestly, the career stuff, I was like, oh, this is what I was worried about.
Right.
When you have like a little kid, you're like, what the fuck? Like
right.
the gravity of life is, and the things that are important. I was like, wow, I can't believe I was worried about that. But I also was in a really good spot where I was established. I always think back to like my husband in those times because I only knew him 3 months when we got pregnant, and he didn't really.
Wow.
So he was the one, because my shit was already established.
Yeah.
So he kind of had to come into my life and figure his shit out like quickly, and we were just like all of a sudden go time for everything on all fronts of having this kid. So the job for me was a real source of like obviously security, and the fact that they were able to like
work around it.
Yeah, because they knew everybody. We all knew each other so well. And, I was pregnant the whole time on that show. So, I went from like when I got really pregnant, like having a body double, and they'd be, they'd be like, here, have a seat, and give me like water.
Oh, they were nice. They were like very
God. So nice,
just welcoming, and made it an enjoyable experience.
Yes,
for you.
And I don't
even
even
feel like
think
a burden.
There was nothing. I didn't have to get written out of anything or anything like that.
Get the pregnant girl out of here.
Yeah, I remember once there was like a wide shot, and I was back. There was like this stack of computer, one of those rooms where it's like lights and I'm so
rooms.
not that character. Technicals in the room where it's like, and then someone in the foreground was like, hiding by the door, and someone comes in and they pull a gun. I'm in the background, and you just hear cut because they like forgot I was pregnant until the camera pulled back, and they're doing this like major action in front of me, and then they're like, oh shit, like there's
a giant belly,
big belly in the background.
Don't shoot the pregnant woman. Please avoid shooting the belly.
Forgot about that one and her belly in the background. But yeah, that part of it was cool, and I would just say, it's really, really hard, but the dimension that it brings to your life is really mind-blowing. Like, it's very challenging, but it's a whole other
like part of existence.
Yeah.
It's like that, you have those eras and stages in your life, and it's so hard to imagine being in another stage when you're in that stage. And I'm in this transitional place where I'm like,
let me get the semen.
There's the title for the episode. Let me get the semen.
let's help this transition along.
And my baby doesn't cry, it barks.
It was a little bit. It was half dog, half human in the semen.
Maybe I could give birth to like little. What are those like half man, half horses?
That would be hot.
What are those? Centaurs?
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be hot. Would I have to fuck a full horse to get a centaur?
We got to look into this.
Have you seen horse dicks? I cannot take a horse dick.
I don't know if I've seen one.
They are giant and gross.
Well, they must be,
They're
right?
huge.
What are we talking?
I mean, that's at least this.
Yeah.
And some of them have been like Game of Thrones swords.
Yeah.
Like just very, very giant. Oh my God. I know what I wanted to talk to you about because we were talking about this before. Last night, do you know Justin Martindale?
Yes.
Comedian. He sends me a photo of him and John Stamos.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know my love for John Stamos?
No.
Do you have like a celebrity that you've always sort of just loved for years?
Oh gosh.
This has been my guy.
Yeah.
Full House.
Yeah.
He knows it. Stamos knows.
Yeah.
Like let's not. Caitlin, his wife, is a very nice person. He's got a kid now. I appreciate it, respect it, but there's a place. I feel like there's just like a little place in his heart for me, a teeny one.
You've met him, obviously.
I met him.
Do you feel like you get flirty and crazy around him?
No, I've only met him once, and this was years ago. I saw him perform. He did like Bye Bye Birdie on Broadway. He's amazing. He's so talented. He's like a triple.
I don't know why that makes me laugh.
I know,
that musical in particular.
I know.
Bye Bye Birdie.
Gina Gershon, I think, was on it as well. It was really good.
What did he play?
He played like the main guy. It was like,
really?
Yes.
Aren't they in high school?
I don't know.
I
just was like, I was just starstruck the whole time.
That's amazing.
But right when I started comedy, and I was like in the receiving line, like when he was going out and saying hi to everybody, and I said some bullshit Greek to him. He doesn't even speak Greek. But so him and I had this.
I'm gonna get him. I'm gonna speak Greek. He's never gonna forget me. He's like, what?
He's like, I don't speak Greek. I'm like, cool. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna leave. But I just like remember, so him and I've had this like peripheral fun, like he'll respond to my tweets or something. And he actually also reached out to me when my father passed and sent this really sweet message.
Like, doesn't it make you like, you're like, oh, like when stuff like that happens, you're like, it can be such a supportive place.
Yes.
And normally you're like, what a cesspool.
Right. Normally it's
so
just
great.
Trolls sitting in their underwear responding with hateful tweets. And then there's Stamos who's like, sorry about your dad. And I was like, yeah, bye bye birdie. That's what I said to my father. I don't know why. Like I wanted to tell you about Stamos, but that happened last night, and Justin sent me the photo, and I was like, you better back the fuck up off
of my man.
Off of my man, for sure. You better back up.
Oh, Justin was like, look who I'm with.
Yeah, Justin's like, oh, me and BFF. I'm like, you don't know Stamos. You don't know Stamos the way I know Stamos.
I saw him in Bye Bye Birdie.
Yeah, did you see him on Broadway? Dubious. What are you working on anything you're excited about now? Any like passion projects or anything?
Yeah, I've got a bunch of stuff. I'm kind of transitioning. I'm doing a ton of stand-up.
That's awesome. I see you out and about. Like usually I'll see you on the lineup. I'm there the day before or day after you on clubs around town.
Yeah, I'm really like I've been wishing all these years that someone would give me a special, and now I realize that's not really happening. And so what I'm saying is, so many people I know do it themselves. Yes. And I'm always like, I want someone to like make it. I just want to do the performing part. Do it yourself. And now it's like coming to the point where, okay, if you're going to do it, you got to just, and I've had a couple of, different people kind of pitch different ways to do that. Yeah. And so I kind of got to do that at some point.
I think you should do it yourself.
Continue doing stand-up.
You should listen to Andrew Schultz on Theo Vaughn's podcast.
Yeah? Does he talk about
doing that?
He
talks exactly about that. And I've been thinking the same thing. You need to listen to this episode. It will
this is embarrassing to admit that, because I in my life, I feel like I'm still holding on to this sweet, sweet past I had with being on the show, like 24. I've mostly let it go, but it used to be like first class, people taking care of you. And for so many years, I kind of relied on acting jobs. I was lucky enough. So every time, I'm sitting in front of a laptop to write a screenplay, and I'm always like, oh, let that acting job like take me away from all this.
Yes.
And my reps I think are kind of like that too, in the sense that, well, people don't care about stand-up unless you're selling a shitload of tickets, right? That's just a general rule.
From that side of the industry, for sure.
Because my background has been acting, so that it stands to reason that they're like, oh, we'll just wait until you
get another gig.
Yeah, you've had this, and I'm sort of like to the end of my rope with that game.
Yeah, because that game isn't that game doesn't work in this climate anymore. That game worked in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s.
And I think I've held on to it probably for a little bit too long. So now, but it's been good because I've been like slowly developing stuff, and I'm like suddenly I'm like, oh, I don't want to audition, so I have this project that I'm shooting next week with like a director that's going to be a pitch for a show. Yep. And there's all these things that like I can spend my energy on. I don't want to say I was like lazy, but I think I did wait for that like lottery ticket of the acting job.
Yeah, like the next gig to come. I don't think it's laziness. I think it's just you're a product of the industry we're in.
Yeah.
And also the industry is in this transitional time, especially because of how everyone is so capable to become independent with their own careers.
Yes.
Because of the advancements in technology and how we hold in our hand a whole production crew.
Yes.
If you learn the skills, you could essentially shoot a show on your phone.
Yes, you can.
And so to get over those troubleshooting learning curves, that's the hard part. And I've been in the same place where it's like, oh, I want, Netflix to do my special, or I really wish HBO or blah, blah, blah. There's a time and place for that, and just because it's not coming doesn't mean that you can't create your own.
That you shouldn't rely on.
You can't rely on it.
The timing of
No.
something big ticket.
Right.
When really stand-up is all about creating it yourself anyway.
Absolutely.
Like that's the whole beauty of it,
Right.
right? Is you're on stage and it's you and you're in control. So why would you
give that up?
Yeah, why would you give that up?
You know, in the generation prior to social media, YouTube, the way people are consuming content currently, that worked.
Right. You're relying upon like, oh, I hope the network gets me out there. And now
timing was a real thing. There's no time now is nonlinear within the social media and entertainment industry.
I like that. Time is now nonlinear.
It is because of the way it's been working.
Yeah.
There's no more waiting.
I just did a guest spot on Criminal Minds, and
that's dope.
It was really fun.
Did it feel good?
Yeah, I'm the bad lady,
Ooh.
but not totally. I'm just like an accomplice to the evil man.
Right.
But it was such a throwback for me to like walk on the set and be like, oh
yeah,
remember sets, remember networks and shows.
Yeah, remember networks.
Remember there's just a coffee machine.
Yes,
and,
like a whole person dedicated. Yes.
Yeah.
It's interesting how it's evolved, and it really is. It's every man and woman for themselves out there now. Not in like a competitive tone, but just in the aspect that you can create anything you want. You really can. And we're in LA. There's so many freaking talented people who are dying.
And you can create a baby if you want. Hold on, let me get the semen.
Can you? I feel like
you can create. Hold on, spread your legs. Turn the cameras off. We need to get you up on this table.
And it's just a puppy.
Just get the angle up.
I wonder if we did do puppy semen, dog semen, if, I don't want to say puppy because there's too young. That'd be really gross. Dog semen. If it would be a shorter gestation period, if it wouldn't be 9 months. Because I feel like dogs aren't pregnant for that long, right? That's only like a few weeks.
Is that
I'm not
true?
A scientist.
You just blew my mind.
Okay, well, how long? Let's see. How long are dogs preggers?
Right. There's no 9 months.
What's your guess?
Oh, Jesus.
How long do you think?
2 months. What?
You're not ready for this. You're not ready for all this jelly. 58 days.
Holy shit.
Perfect.
That's what I just said. I said 2 months.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's great. And you get 6 of them, at least.
Yeah.
One might be a little nubby, but that's fine.
Wait, so when you said you didn't want to have a puppy in there, you want to have a full dog?
No, I didn't want to take puppy semen because that's not right.
Oh, puppy semen.
Yeah, that's rude.
That's
rude. Illegal because they're young.
Yeah.
But full-grown dog semen. I'm a grown woman. He's a consenting dog. Yeah. That's not gross. That's totally normal.
Is he a consenting dog?
Well, you tell me. Where did you
gotta
get
catch it. He loved it. He loved every minute of it.
Hey, love, you look me in the eyes. You look me in the eyes, damn it.
He was looking in my eyes.
This is going to be the strangest episode between my tears and Puppy's semen. Aaron, are you okay over there? Okay.
He said that like he wasn't.
Yeah, he's like,
fully okay.
I'm triggered.
He's like, I'm trying to block
He's calling
you guys
PETA
out.
right now. He's calling PETA as we speak.
Guys, I'm fine. My dog over here is a little.
Oh no.
He does have his dog. Well,
cover the ears. Is your dog here?
Yeah, she's over the corner.
this is an awkward time to tell you, but you're about to be a uncle. I don't know what you're. A grandfather?
Grandfather.
Are you my new dad? You're
You
my
guys.
father-in-law. Oh my God, Aaron, you're my father-in-law because your dog donated semen to Mary Lynn. It's in her bag. You okay with
jeez.
that?
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
it's science.
All right, he was consenting. He was asleep.
When he goes
but-
to the restroom, we just go. And
yeah, he goes to the restroom. We just keep getting more sperm samples. What is?
That felt like aggressive towards the dog. That
It
little
did.
like riffing that we did.
I know.
I did the show in. I was just in Moon Tower Comedy Festival, and
Oh yeah, how was it? That just
it was
happened
fun.
last
Yeah,
weekend.
it was really fun.
I love Moon Tower.
Yeah, I just got back yesterday.
How? What shows did you do?
I did
So many fun ones out there.
I did the goddamn Comedy Jam.
Nice. What song? What
I
song?
sang "Creep" by Radiohead, and it's not a complicated song, but I first of all did not practice, even though I've done it before. Forgot the words, and Josh looked at me, and there's like photos and video of it. He looked at me, and we were singing into the same mic. You know how Josh is,
Yeah.
and he was looking into my eyes like the soul of the universe. Third
You
eyes
better remember
open.
these songs.
Well, and he was singing with me, like helping me. But I was so emoting at the beginning, like I was so in it that
Yeah.
I like lost my mind.
Yeah.
And we sang it together. But there's a photo of us, and he sent me the photo, and it looks like I'm gonna show you.
Show
It
me.
looks like it's A Star Is Born. Like we're just like looking so deeply into each other's
Josh
eyes.
is so intense. That's his like.
Yeah.
It's second nature for him to be on
Yes.
stage singing and doing all of like the music
And the intensity.
and the
That's,
intensity.
like,
The goddamn Comedy Jam is one of the most fun.
you're gonna. It's on my IG.
Can you guys see? It's on her IG.
It's out of
Can
control.
see
You
the
can see how
intensity?
intimate we were. Like we were feeling it.
Oh yeah, look at your face. Oh my, this really is a star.
It's a total.
Oh my
Look at
god.
that.
So that's a fun show. The
So
goddamn
fun.
Comedy Jam. I don't know if he's gonna be doing it for much longer.
Really?
Yeah, because he's starting to do the his podcast,
Oh yeah.
the 500, the Rolling Stone top 500 albums of all time. And I think he's
Nice.
doing that with Spotify.
Oh good.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Good.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun.
Yeah, that goddamn Comedy Jam seems like a lot to keep going.
It's a lot. I mean,
yeah.
but as a comedian to get up there, everyone wants to be a rock star.
Yeah.
Most people want to be comedians, but everyone wants to be a rock star.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just it's a cool thing.
Yeah.
So when you get to combine both, it feels like
Totally
recess.
had my own A Star Is Born speech.
You really did.
My own
It
alley
looks like you
moment.
guys are on the road together, just living the dream, making music. Yeah, Moon Tower's a lot of fun. I did that last year. Are you going to Just for Laughs this year?
I don't think so. I went.
No?
I went last year or the year before last year. I don't know.
Yeah. There's so many different like
Are
festivals.
you gonna go?
I think I am. Yeah. We're talking about it. Like the Nasty Show. Apparently I'm
Ooh,
not your clean Seinfeld comedian, but whatevs.
that'll be fun.
Yeah, the Nasty Show's a lot of fun. Yeah, we'll be up in there telling dick jokes. Maybe I'll even mention a little dog semen in there, see how the people like it.
I'd be curious to see you go from your dick jokes to like talking about your dad on stage.
I know that would be true art.
But you said you were doing it on
I-
the road.
yeah, I was
Or you just do
doing-
it because your road shows you can
Because it's longer.
connect with people. Yeah.
It's so much harder to like drop that stuff in on the club sets
Yeah.
here unless it's really refined. And it's
Yeah.
not quite, I
Yeah.
talked about him while he was sick. And now I'm in this interesting place where I was talking about him when he was sick, but because that was such a short time frame and then he passed, I'm trying to find the flow of it now, because now he's gone. So it's like
Oh.
all of like the him being dead jokes as opposed to him being sick. So I'm trying to figure out how to make all of that work together and have it still be cohesive. It's a challenge for sure. And also where
That's
to
cool
put
that you went into it in your longer shows. That you
I
had the
had to,
courage to
man.
do it.
I had to, because not talking about it made me feel fucking crazy. It made me feel like a liar.
Yeah.
And then similar thing to like, I'm sure giving birth and having a child, losing someone, what you care about and what you talk about and things that matter change.
Yeah, that's the stuff. I mean, that's the most powerful stuff, right?
Yeah, definitely. So, you know, trying to
life and death,
put that in between the dick jokes is a challenge. I really don't have dick jokes, but you know what I mean. Just on an overall.
Now I'm envisioning that you prep that set, but it still is for the nasty show. Yeah. That would be powerful.
Ooh.
I don't know. Who knows? I don't know where you're at with it.
Fun.
You know what I mean? Like, if that's a goal, whether or not you get it there.
That could be really fun. There could be a way to make it all work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, I mean, I do have jokes about my dad's dick.
What have you seen your dad's dick? Recently or always?
I mean,
do you want to talk
recently,
about it?
I don't know if it's
Do you need to cry again?
Because he's dead. Do you need to cry again?
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. Oh, gosh. Yeah, well, basically, the first time my man met my father was in the whole interim of my father being sick.
Yeah.
And so I basically was going over Nancy Drew style because my sisters and mom were like, we don't know what's going on, maybe, because I was the closest with him. They're like, maybe you can tell us what's up. And so I went over to his house, and my man had come over to meet him. And so I didn't know what to expect. And my man, you know, was just going to meet my dad. And so I knock on the door, and my dad answers the door without any pants on. He is just like this tiny like this shirt.
Was he expecting him?
I don't know. He knew I was coming over. And this was early on. Like, this was probably like the first stage of Alzheimer's, like towards the end of the first stage. Probably stage 2 now, looking back.
So he wasn't necessarily doing it on purpose.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he wasn't doing it on purpose. It was,
okay,
but I didn't know the extent of what was going on.
Right.
So I was planning on just him being like, is it Tuesday? Meanwhile, it's like, do I have pants on? Like his fully exposed.
Oh.
Not a small situation, I will say.
Whoa.
That was jarring for me to be like, there's a human arm down there. And so I was like, oh, hi. He's just elephant trunking underneath his shirt. And I was like, this is terrible. And he's like, what do I do? I'm like, I don't know what's happening. This might be like a Sicilian standoff. I don't know what this is. Take yours out too. I think he needs.
You have to take your dick out now. That's how my
tradition.
dad. Yeah, that's how we do it.
It's Italian tradition.
Christmas and when he meets new boyfriends.
Christmas and new boyfriends. He's got to square up. So we just need to see tip to tip.
Do people die when you say that in the club?
Yeah, I mean that's the intro into all of it. So that'd be. Are you sweating? Are you sweating?
No, they're just cheap earrings. I try to put Neosporin, but I do the same gotta thing. Get it out of my ears.
I'm
getting loose over here.
Yeah, you're like, all right, we're crying. We're talking about dead dads and dicks. I tried to talk about it, and it does. I think it'd be a good intro into the nasty show. I never even thought about that. Yes, doing it. I'll have to text you and be like, did it. Also pregnant. I'll text you for like, hey, I want to let you know that those jokes worked. And so did the scene.
Yes. It's all happening.
It's all happening.
Yeah. I got pregnant when I was 37, I think. Well,
really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I feel like I could, I'm pretty healthy.
You can push it to 42 if you need to.
You think so?
Sure.
Oh.
Why not?
That would be ideal. Are you being for real?
Why not?
Let's Google it. When's the last age a woman should have a child?
Well,
who's writing these
they're
things?
going to... When I had the kid at 37, I was still treated like, this is way late. Like, you get extra testing, and you're treated like...
You're an old hag.
Yeah. But you can do it. People do it all the time.
Right? I mean, didn't the Guinness oldest woman to give birth? Let's see. What's your guess?
It's going to be something crazy. But I know that...
say like 70.
Whoa. Is
that crazy?
Wasn't it Annie Leibovitz did it at like 57?
She did do it a little bit older. I thought you were going to say Annie Lederman. I'm like, Annie Lederman? How old is she? God, she looks great. Maria del Carmen Busada de Laura.
Hell yeah.
Jesus, she gave birth to a long freaking name. 66 years old. almost 67 when she gave birth to twins. IVF. See?
That's what I was just wondering.
That's it. So that's
she
not
did
natural.
It on purpose. Yeah.
She did it on purpose.
That's kind of freaky.
Women who go through menopause will not be able to get pregnant without help. Wow, that's wild.
You go through menopause,
and you have a kid.
Oh,
that's just greedy.
It really is.
That's just greedy.
I agree.
That's like nature's gonna come back and be like, this isn't the plan.
Yeah.
You weren't supposed to do it this way.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like she's gonna do some really cruel shit to you in your sleep. Like, that's just cheating. I might try it out though. I mean, if it works.
Yeah, she's the receptacle.
Here we go. They will need to use eggs from a donor or a frozen stash.
Hello.
Of their own eggs.
Per stash.
So you're just going to have to be,
travel size.
Yeah.
On the plane
I'm going to be like, yo, Mary Lynn, hook me up with that bag stash. Give me some of them frozen semen sacks.
Listen, you're good. You're going to have your baby.
You sure? What if it's like 4 kids who come out? You going to help?
Sure, I'll help.
I feel like you would, even though I don't really know you that well.
I'll help.
I felt like that was real.
Yeah. I mean, where do you live? Do I got to go over the hill?
That's the kicker. Are you over are you in the valley? Ooh.
No, I'm in the valley.
Oh, you are?
I'm
on the west side.
Oh, I can't help.
Fuck.
I'm sorry.
Man, I'm going to have to get like somebody who's local to help me out.
I can't
Son
help.
of a.
You come here to do your podcast?
I know. I come out here.
Dedication.
Well, it's just kind of, it feels nice. I got Aaron over there in the nook.
It is nice.
With my husband on the floor, all fours. How is he? Is he feeling okay? Is everything? Are you keeping his sack at a 98.6? Just steady.
Give it another go.
Steady tap. Yeah, but we're on a
Whenever
schedule.
He's ready.
We're on an ovulation schedule. My God, get the semen out of your bag. Get the semen.
Coming right up.
What? Where can my glorious people find you?
MaryLynn.com.
MaryLynn.com. Are you on the road coming up anywhere?
Yeah.
Where are you at?
Oh, the road. Oh, I'm going on the road with Fred Armisen.
Oh, that's going to be great.
Yeah, in May. I'm super excited.
That'll be fun. Do you know where you guys are going to be performing?
We're all
clubs
over.
Or
We're
theaters?
different city every night in
That's
like
awesome.
rock clubs.
Oh, that's so cool.
I did it once with him before, and it's a blast. Like, it's such a fun show, and his audiences are rad, and they usually sell out. Where are we going this time? I haven't even looked at the schedule.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That'll be a lot of fun, but they can find it on your website.
Yes.
And Twitter.
So, yeah, it's all on the website.
That's great. You've been a delight. I mean, you've shed some light on my life and made me cry.
Yes.
Hope you feel good about yourself.
I'm excited about your nasty show set. I feel great about myself.
I know you really helped me out. Yeah. It's
because
like a
you were
therapy
saying,
session.
because you were talking about doing the dick jokes, but then also talking about your dad. And I was like, that's kind of like you're already doing that. And that's the most powerful stuff anyway.
Yeah.
Even though it's the nasty show, you hit him with some life or death.
I know. I mean, can't nasty
truth.
be sort of, it's just a word and you interpret it as a comedian.
But you can still be nasty.
I could still be nasty.
You're talking about him.
Dad's dick is not the cleanest.
That's amazing.
You know, Seinfeld's talking about his dad's socks, not his dick.
Hello. This is the new frontier. Montreal, 2020. Here we go.
Mary Lynn, you've been a delight.
You are a delight.
This is a really nice conversation.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for making me cry.
Anytime.